Well, good morning. I didn't shoot an outro last night because I was actually camping with someone and didn't want a video with them around. But starting off already with some elevation. Today we have Terrapin Hill, followed by a 8.5 mile road walk, and I'll end up with about a 15.5 mile day. So it's going to be a rough day, long day. The biggest surprise this morning was finding out that this family that I had leapfrogged with all day yesterday and camped with last night is actually Mama Bear and Little Bear, now Bear, since she's grown up and is quite the hiker. But I was camping with them. I think their channel, it's Wildflower Adventures, I think it is. Well known in the YouTube community. So that was quite a surprise. It was almost like getting to meet, celebrities and stuff. So that was pretty cool. Some hard work this morning. I've already been climbing for a while. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like way up there. And that's not even Terrapin Hill. That's kind of like a little small hill right before the final push for Terrapin Hill. So slow and steady this morning. Good Lord. That's the bench they put there because they knew you'd need it. And then from there, I think it's a gradual uphill to the actual summit of Terrapin Hill. So if there are any views along the way, you'll get them. Well, this is the top of Terrapin Hill. Not much to see, but yay, we made it. So I made it to Kim's camp. I stopped to get some water, take a little snack break. And I wanted to show you, this is where you would come into Kim's camp if you were Nobo. And this is the creek. So it's enough flow to be able to get a little bit of water. It's not the best. And the campsite is also relatively small. This is not the most level of space. I think you could probably fit a 2-person tent in here. There is a nice bench, fire ring, but all in all, I would say that if you can, you definitely would want to stay at the campsite located at about mile 12, 12 and a half on the FarOut app. It has much more room for tents. Last night I stayed there with Mama Bear and her family, and they had a 3-person tent, a 1-person tent, and I had my 2-person X-Mid, and we had no issues finding space for all of that. The creek was also a lot larger than what is here, and it had way more flow. It fill up your 2-liter reservoir within seconds. You also had a lot more of that waterfall noise too here, because it's just a trickle. You don't have that, but we slept like babies last night listening to the sounds of the water rushing. So that's my recommendation, and that is on FarOut. It's just going to be a water droplet, but if you go into the comments, you'll see where people are saying that it is a campground, and it's just before the Terrapin Hill section. So I hope that helps you. So this is Kim's camp. There's a picnic table. There's not a lot of tent space at all. In fact, that's pretty much it. You could probably get a 2-person tent in there. And there doesn't seem to be anything else in the way of tent sites. They do have the trail register here that you can sign, and the stream is just back this way, and it's not a bad stream. It's pretty easy to get to, but you'd be in a bind if someone else were here. It's just such a tiny little campsite. All right, we made it to the road walk. So coming out here, and then, a little bucket of walking sticks. And start the 8.5-mile road walk. This road walk is horrible. There's barely a shoulder, and the cars come pretty darn quick. Well, this is a lot better. I can handle a road walk like this. Some more pups of the Pinhoti. At least, thank goodness, those are going to stay in their yard. Well, there you go. I found him. That's for my mom. Love you, Mom. Well, there's something you don't see every day. I was just informed by one of the locals that these 2 donkeys are lost. They've been trying to catch them for about 2 weeks now, and no one can catch them. And they've just kind of been roaming around, causing mischief. So I'm back on the road walk. I just got back from the Dollar General in Stewartville, and I'll post a picture of my lunch. It was delicious because it was cold. And I finally got my soft drink. But about I think 6 more miles until the campsite, so just keep walking. I'm back in the woods after the road walk, and it definitely looks a little different. Well, good morning from day 4 at Sheldon Creek. I didn't film last night because I got in kind of late and it was too dark to really do anything, and I was tired and wanted to set up, but I do want to show you what Sheldon Creek looks like, so let's do that. Oh, also, you see now why I wear the hat, right? So this was pretty much the only tent space that I did see, and it's a good size. I mean, that's the Durston X Mid 2, so it's a large footprint, so I mean it's a pretty good size spot. You do have a nice bench and a fire ring, and the creek is right there. At the moment it's not really flowing the best, but there is a little bit of flow that's right there, and that is where I was able to fill up my reservoir pretty easy. And then of course Sheldon Creek is right next to the road. I mean, it is right there. The noise did die down last night, so it really wasn't that much of a problem. The trail is just behind that tree. It goes out through there. You can actually see my little bear hang over there. But not a bad spot. I had no issues last night, and despite all of the road noise, I slept pretty well. I did listen to the coyotes most of the night. It seemed like about every 2 hours or so they would all start yipping and yelling and kind of, I guess, locating each other, and then they would die down, and in about 2 more hours they would pick back up again. So, but I am going to get myself some coffee, and I have to fill you guys in on the last day. This might be my last day out here, so. So today was actually supposed to be a 15.5 mile. Yeah, I really did that. Filmed a whole entire update for y'all, and I thought I had the camera far back enough, and I got home and started the editing process and found out that no, I did not, and I had completely talked the whole time with my head cut off. So I'll do it now and hopefully insert it into the video, and give you guys the update as to what happened on that last day of trail. So I ended up developing some pretty substantial blisters, one on each foot in the exact same location. And I think it was that 8.5 mile road walk that for me, I had never done anything, a road walk that long. And I think just the repetitive motion of constantly stepping in that one spot, it formed a blister. I did actually pre-tape, so I was using Leuco tape at the time, but that did not stop the blisters from forming. And it was on the center of the pad of my foot. So if you picture, your toes, you got your big toe, and probably like, your second and third toe right below there. That whole area, like I said, one on each foot, ended up forming a blister. I do actually have some footage of after I had popped it. So right after this, I'll put that in there. So if you don't want to see that, just, skip ahead. But if you like looking at that stuff, that's going to be pretty interesting. But I ended up staying at Sheldon Creek that morning. I just took my time. I actually cooked and ate breakfast. Sheldon Creek does have, for Verizon, they do have cell phone service because it's so near to a road. And I set my tripod up and used it like a TV, and I watched a movie while I was sitting there eating my breakfast and just had a grand time.
It was nice to kind of slow down. And I did call the Pinhoti Outdoor Center and organize with them a pickup. I think I scheduled for 11:30 that morning. I came off trail and I hung out with them. I sat there, went back to the POC, got a shower, got cleaned up. And that night I ended up getting invited to go and eat supper with the caretakers that were there and Nathan and Kim. So I got to hear about the 100-foot observation tower that I missed by a couple of weeks that should be put on the top of Terrapin Hill, hopefully around the time this video comes out, or, uh, and it's just, so many good things. It was great conversation. It was wonderful food, and it was a good time. So even though I didn't get to do that last 15.5 miles from Sheldon Creek into Bull Gap, I don't regret the decision at all. Like I say, it was a really great day. And for me, I knew that in about 2 weeks, I had to go and hike a 20-mile day. So I needed the blisters to be able to heal. And I've since done that, and I had no issues with my feet. So that's why I'm kind of thinking it was probably that road walk that did it. But that is the update for you guys. There may be another video, I think, that will probably come out with some of the things about the trail, suggestions, things that I did, maybe even go a little bit into the gear that I used and what I was carrying. But we'll see. Let me know if that's even something anyone's even interested in. But so until the next time I get on the Pinhoti, which hopefully will be in the new year, I will see you guys then. And I hope that everything in the videos has been a help for you to be able to get out there and do it yourself. Bye, guys.
Just popped that blister this morning. See how it feels after I drain it. Welcome to the inside of the POC. It's a pretty cool place. They have just about everything that you could possibly want. They do offer laundry services. Let's see, bathroom, shower. They also have towels, washcloths for you, basic toiletries that you can use. Blankets. All the beds come with a sheet and pillows, so you don't have to pack any of that stuff. And they also have loaner clothes if you need those. They do have a hiker box with food that you can either donate to or have. They have an honor system of a few different items that you can purchase. And this year's hiker board.